This video, it's Lock Nation Academy 101. NBA players NBA players hate basketball trainers. Posted 2 days ago. Go like, go subscribe. Ooh, one of the GOATs, Jamal Crawford.
That's why I just made a post about trainers. I feel like there's so many trainers that are teaching kids stuff that they'll never use in games. And that's coming from me, right, who was one of the best ball handlers. But I still knew when to use it and when not to. Most of my, if you go back and look, most of my, like, I guess you can say fancy dribbling came when a pick and roll was coming to shift the defender, to get him to move so I could have an angle to the lane or angle to make a play.
We always talk about the why. Remember, like, why are you working on this? As long as you have a why for why you're working on those moves, it's fine. But most skills trainers don't have a why. Is this transforming basketball? I can't see the shirts. I know who this is. I know who this is.
Y'all just saw exactly why a lot of NBA players hate basketball trainers. It's because they don't teach real basketball. They teach what I call fake basketball. Real basketball is simple. You want to score, then straight line drive to the basket. If you get cut off, then straight line drive the other direction.
Full speed right, full speed left. Let's get it.
That's simple. You want to play north to south, not east to west. Real basketball is also working on closeouts. Closeout situations happen more than any other situation in basketball. Real basketball is also playing without the ball, which means doing things like setting screens, cutting, spacing, communication on defense in general. You get the point. Those are things that every player should master no matter the age or position. Those things are what coaches are looking for and things that
Taylor Horton Tucker
translate to every level. But trainers decide to skip what you actually need and teach you a 5-dribble combo with no context and call it bag work when you know you will never use it in a game. They'll teach a 12-year-old bag work when that kid doesn't even know what spacing means or can't finish, dribble, or pass with their offhand. These are just a few reasons why a lot of NBA players and myself aren't too fond of most trainers, and it's only getting worse. Trainers, mainly online trainers, are turning basketball into rocket science when it's not.
This is my whoa. What's going? Whoa! What move did he just do? It's a pump fake, man.
Listen to what Larry Bird said about the game of basketball.
The game of basketball is pretty simple if the ball's moving. Sure. Now the point guard can do whatever he wants to do. Instead of dribbling from one side to the other, back and forth. But he's an initiator, and if he gets that ball moving, that ball's moving, everybody feels a part of it. It doesn't matter.
The dominoes.
Matter where it ends up, because it's always going to be up to the best player. You know, sometimes that always happens.
Yeah.
But
Ball has energy.
That's right, and you get that ball moving, and good things happen all the time. It's a pretty simple game if you play it the right way.
Charles Barkley even knows this. He's like, that's terrible, Kenny. That's terrible, Kenny. Ball movement and player movement is all that they need to be doing. And I'm like, yeah, pretty much.
But online trainers will still overcomplicate it, and they'll justify it by saying it's science-based or research-based training, and how it's so much better than traditional spot shooting, form shooting, stationary dribbling, and all of the other basics high-level players did growing up. Not only is there no real basketball evidence that supports that, but what drives me crazy is that the people who watch these online trainers are mostly kids or young players who are not that good at basketball. If they were, they wouldn't be watching the videos. So the fact that these online trainers know that and still push the narrative that spot shooting, stationary dribbling, and the other basics are bad for you, that can literally mess up kids around the globe. Because a lot of kids out there don't have a partner to do small-sided games or don't have the athletic ability yet to do these wacky drills. So now they can't do that, nor can they do the traditional training, because everywhere they look, these online trainers that they look up to are telling them that it's bad for them. You see how this can have a negative impact on how the kids think around the globe? And last thing, they talk extremely confident about the science-based methods without posting player results.
Player results, but also the research. Man, when you dive in, again, I've been doing so much of this just to like dot my I's, cross my T's. I've been doing so much research on like the way we learn and ecological dynamics and all this sort of stuff. There is just not, the research is just not, it is just, there's not enough research to show that there's any reason to change the way you coach. Obviously there's studies in human behavior and things like that, how to relate to humans better, how to deliver messages, how to communicate better, how to be a better leader and mentor. There's that sort of stuff. But when it comes to actually building skills and whatever, the research is typically like, we took one team of players and had them work on this one drill, and then we had this team work on this other drill, and now this team is better. See? It's like, that's it? You took 20 kids and just had them each work on one different drill? What is this supposed to teach me?
They spend more time telling us how great science-based training is than actually showing us. Now back to NBA players, especially non-stars, which is the majority of the league. They understand what things will get you and keep you at the highest levels. So when they see a trainer teaching a kid a bunch of bag work, they instantly have a problem with it, whether they speak on it or not.
I don't need you to have the bag work. It's nice. Can you shoot consistently? Can you move without the ball? Can you make quick straight line drives? If you can defend, shoot the three, and make straight line drives, I don't need you to hit a double crossover. All I need you to be able to do.
This is why I hate when Austin Reavers gets into all of this nonsense drama, and he's doing the engagement farming I've been talking about, because he does this, and this stuff is brilliant. He's a brilliant basketball mind. I hate when he gets into the back and forths.
Is catch, shoot, and play to make other players better. If you can do that, you can play in the NBA.
Austin Rivers is 100% right. Bag work and fancy moves is not what teams at the highest levels are looking for. Can you win closeouts? Can you get downhill as quick as possible with straight line drives and finish, get to the line, or kick it out? Can you defend? The rest of it is strength and conditioning and athletic ability. It's that simple. Not easy, but simple. But of course, trainers don't teach straight line drives because it doesn't look good on camera. Same thing goes for closeouts. And most trainers will tell you that defense is not a skill. And if you're still saying that in 2026, then I don't know what to tell you. So it's like, if most trainers aren't teaching you those things, then there's no reason to go to them and waste your time and money. It's so ironic that most basketball trainers don't teach basketball. They try to train kids on how to be SGA or Kyrie, not realizing that those guys have already mastered the simple stuff, and they score most of their points from that simple stuff.
And even then, listen to Kyrie or SGA talk about skills. And it's going to be the most basic, fundamental, it's going to be the most like simple thing ever. We've done plenty of videos on this.
They can make 8 out of 10 open threes in the gym from every spot. They can dribble and finish with their left hand.
Remember we were talking the other day, sometimes it's good to shoot and work on a different, sometimes it's good to, so Shea was doing that workout with Olin Simplis. And it's like, yes, sometimes to work on getting out of rhythm and back in rhythm, it's good to do like a crossover to the left shot, crossover to the right shot, crossover to the left shot, different crossover to the right. It's good to mix up your brain. But I guarantee you it's because Shea is already shooting 1,000, at least 1,000 volume shots a week. He's at least doing 1,000 of these. Then he also adds other things on top. It's because he does this full time. If you're a young kid and you're not doing 1,000 of these volume shots a week, like there's no need to add the icing on the cake. You can for fun, but this still needs to be like majority of what you're doing.
Are also extremely strong and athletic. But instead of starting there, trainers skip those key things and jump right into the deep bag work. Let me give y'all some stats before I end off the video. SGA, who is known as the best ISO scorer in the NBA, only averages 8 points per game in isolation.
This reminds me of that stat we did on one of my videos. You remember, and I had the same feeling as a player, but do you remember when we were talking about time of possession? SGA was like top, maybe he was leading the league in time of possession with the ball in his hands. He's the best player in the world, and he has the ball in his hands for it was like 5 minutes out of a 48-minute game or something. So that means there's 43 minutes where he doesn't have the ball in his hand. And then same thing for Jokic. Jokic had he gets the most passes to him, so he gets the most touches, basketball touches, and he wasn't even in the top 10 in time of possession. So he gets the ball the most, but the ball is out of his hands because he's catching and passing, he's moving it, but he knows how to present and get the ball often. So he gets the most touches, and he wasn't even in the top 10 in the time of possession, like 3 minutes a game or something like that. So it's funny. We practice. You spend 80% of your time of what you do with the ball in your hands. 80% of your training needs to be what you're doing without the basketball. So strength and conditioning, that sort of stuff can count towards that. So when you're in the gym working on your volume shooting and working on closeouts, like other things we just talked about, but this same thing, kids would always come up to me after basketball games, be like, yo, that step back between the legs you hit right before halftime was crazy. Yo, that was crazy. And I'm like, well, That was 2 of my points. The other 26 points were from straight line drives and free throws and open threes. Like the rest of 26 points were just from basic bare bones basketball, but they remember the one step back.
Luka only averages 6 points in isolation and scores like
Luka averages 6 points in isolation. Even if you would have asked me, I would have probably said 10 to 12 points a game from isolation. He only averages 6.
like Steph, Tyler Hero, LeBron, LaMelo, and Trae Young all score less than 3 points per game in isolation. In 2025, Kyrie averaged just 5 points in isolation. So what does this mean? It means that isolation basketball and bag work is not as important as y'all think it is. These players get most of their points with...
Yeah, Kyrie, it's so funny. If someone asks me, like, who should I watch to be efficient on offense, I'd be like, Kyrie Irving. But then I'd be like, not for the reason you think, though. I do really firmly believe Kyrie's triple threat is better than majority of the league. Like
average just 5 points in isolation.
Kyrie's just triple threat ability. Look, just catch and shoot. And then he's in triple threat now. He just jab and go. His triple threat is better than like most people. He's very Kobe-like with his triple threat footwork.
These players get most of their points within the flow of the game. Closeouts, transition,
shot fake and go,
cutting, putbacks, scoring 2 to 3 dribbles off of pick and rolls, etc. So if SGA and Kyrie average less than 8 points per game in isolation, then that means everyone who is not one of the greatest scorers ever should not be spending a lot of time on iso ball and bag work. Also, one more stat. Nikola Jokic averages 1.32 dribbles per...
Oh, here we go.
Per touch and only has the ball in his hands 2 seconds per touch. And in 2025, Kyrie averaged only 3 dribbles per touch. Bag work and isolation basketball is overrated. It's not what makes you a good basketball player.
Agreed. Yo, Lock Nation, dope video. I appreciated this. And again, we need more of this. So go like, go subscribe. These are the types of videos we need to be boosting in the algorithm. And because it does, this actually helps players. If you want to become a better player, be able to make open shots, be able to get from point A to point B as quick as possible, be able to make layups, contact layups, be in shape. If you do those things, you can play varsity in high school. And if you're physically gifted enough, that'll take you to college and the NBA, if you can do those things efficiently. So yeah, great video. Appreciate you, man. And see you guys in the next one.